You've just started business school, whether it's a master's program, an MBA, an executive MBA, or even an undergraduate program. And from the very first week, your professors are throwing at you something called case studies. Suddenly, you are reading about failing car companies, global coffee chains, pharmaceutical pricing scandals, and complicated strategy dilemmas. But here is what many of you might be thinking. What is a case study method actually? Why do we use it in business schools? How do you approach a case study like a pro? And what about AI when solving a case study during your business school studies? That's what we're talking about today. I'm Dr. Oksana Gurwi, MBA Director and Business School Insider at UCL, one of the top 10 universities in the world. I have taught strategy for years. I have worked with hundreds of MBA, hundreds of master's students, and let me tell you, learning with case studies is one of the most powerful tools we have in business education, but only if you understand what it's really for. So today, let's break it down. What is the case study method? First, a bit of history. The case method started over a century ago at Harvard Business School. The idea was to bring real-world business dilemmas into the classroom, not to memorize facts, but to help future leaders learn how to make decisions. A case study presents you with a real situation, usually from a real-world company. A CEO has to decide whether to enter a new market or stay where they are. A startup is facing a cash flow crisis. A brand is losing relevance with customers. A hospital is deciding whether to expand or merge. And your job as a business school student is to step into the shoes of the decision maker, CEO, a company founder, head of the department, and to figure out what is really the problem. What do you do? Why? And given the pros and cons, the different options, how would you convince others to follow your lead? So the case method isn't about being right. It is not about finding one right answer. Instead, it's about learning how to make a decision, evaluate different options, weigh the pros and the cons of different options, and then choose one that you think is best. So, in essence, case study method is about how to make tough decisions. And these decisions are made when no one is giving you one right answer. That's why we use it. We're giving our students an opportunity to safely exercise their decision-making muscle and creating a context for that decision-making process. So why do business schools use case study methodology? Because leadership in business isn't about knowing facts or frameworks. It's about judgment. Business is messy, it's ambiguous, you rarely have complete data, the right decision isn't always obvious. Often, there isn't a right answer at all. And the case method helps you navigate complexity, argue your position, defend your logic, and critically evaluate other people's thinking. In many ways, it's the closest thing to real-world experience you can get in a classroom. And it also sharpens some of the most valuable skills in your toolkit: communication, critical thinking, leadership, emotional intelligence, strategic insight. When you solve cases, you're not just practicing business thinking, you're practicing how to show up as a leader, because it's the most important task of a leader: to make decisions. To make decisions on behalf of yourselves, on behalf of your teams, divisions, and companies. So how do you solve a case like a pro? Most students approach cases the wrong way. They open the document, they read it from cover to cover like a story, then they try to guess what the professor wants to hear. Let me give you a better method. Step 1. Start with the questions. Before reading the case, Look at what you are being asked. Is it about entering a new market, redesigning an incentive system, dealing with a competitor? Knowing the questions helps you draw attention, focus attention where it matters. So start with the questions. Step 2, read actively. Take notes, mark up text, look for key decisions, internal conflicts, market data, risks, and missing information. What is missing? Ask yourself, who are the key players? What do they care about? What's the decision on the table? What's the upside? And what could go wrong? Then you move on to step 3. Take a position. Evaluate possible solutions, compare them, and choose one. Don't sit on the fence. Choose a path forward and be ready to defend it. Then you move to step 4. Back it up. Use evidence from the case. Refer to market data, customer insights, financials, team dynamics. Your goal isn't to be loud. It's to show your arguments clearly and in a logical way. And lastly, step 5, stay flexible. In class, you will hear other perspectives. Sometimes your classmates will choose a solution that is exactly opposite to what you're proposing. Be open. You might revise your thinking. That's part of learning. It's not about winning the debate. It's about expanding your lens. As we're talking about case study methodology, you might be thinking, has AI killed case study method? Let's be honest. Tools like ChatGPT can summarize cases. They can write recommendations. They can even suggest strategy frameworks, all in seconds. So what's the point of struggling through a case? Here's the truth. The case method has never been about finding the right answer. It's about how you think. It's about how do you decide and defend your point of view under pressure. In other words, it's about judgment. AI doesn't feel uncertainty. It doesn't weigh trade-offs. It doesn't convince a team. You do. So no, AI hasn't killed the case study method. It's just made the human part of learning more valuable than ever. So how do you use AI to deepen your learning? Used right, AI can help you to make much better case study analysis. Ask AI to explain frameworks or industry terms rather than give you answers. Challenge its output. What's missing? What would I say instead? Use it to simulate stakeholders or test your assumptions. Compare your thinking to AI's and then go deeper. Don't just ask AI, what should the company do? Ask yourself, why would I back that decision in a boardroom? That's what the case method is all about. You see, in a business school, you're not just learning to solve problems. You are learning to lead. Here's what I want you to remember. When you are given a case, you are not just being asked to write a recommendation. You are being asked to step up, to think like a leader, to challenge assumptions, to communicate your thinking with clarity, with conviction. And in the age of AI, anyone can get an answer, but not everyone can earn trust, hold complexity, and lead others through ambiguity. That's what the case method ultimately teaches. And that's why it's not going anywhere. If this helped you, give this video a like and subscribe. I post regularly about business school, MBA strategy, and how to thrive in the classroom and beyond. Let me know in the comments, have you used AI to prepare for a case? Did it help? Did it hurt your learning? And if you are new to the business school, check out my other videos.